Mesachta Shavous. Daf Mem Ches Amud Aleph. We're starting from the last line. On Mem Zayin Amud Beis. Masav Rav Huna Rav Yehuda. Rav Huna Rav Yehuda had asked a question from a Baraisa, the following Baraisa, the Negei Eidim testifying about the Levana, the new Levana. One says that he saw the moon Gavayashtei Ma'deyois. Two goat, the steklach that was goat lead that leads goats. It's a stick that leads goats, and they're all the same size. So one person said he saw above the horizon. You know, at the end of the day, you see the orange, and you see the moon on top. So he says, if you measure, it was 2 sticks from the horizon to the moon. And the other one says, no, it was 3 sticks high. Says they testified for the new Levana. So it said when the sun goes down, you see the horizon, and he says between the horizon and the moon was either above the horizon from where you're looking. If you would put it, it would block your eye. 2 sticks or 3 sticks. It's called gold sticks. Anyway. So then we say that's not a problem because that's normal to make a mistake on 1 stick. How about one said it was 2. I'm sorry, one says it was 3, and the other one says it's 5. Eidus and Batela. The Eidus is but because to make a mistake between 2 sticks, that's too much. So from 3 to 5, so it's a 2-stick mistake. Okay, same thing. Okay. Eidus and Batela. Says the Gemara with Starfield, Eidus Acheres. For another Eidus, they could be Mitzvah. That means they could testify when it comes to saying other Eidus. Yesterday we learned if you have 2 Eidus that are contradicting each other, Rav Chisda says, so we don't know which one is true Eidus, so we can never trust either of the Eidim on any of the cases. Here you see a stinner. Here you say you had the one against one. They were contradicting each other, and you say you can be Mitzvah the other Eidus. How could you? Says my love, the Eidus mummy. You can even testify a mummy, which contradicts Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda says when you have Eidim that contradict each other, that's it. They're disqualified. They can never say Eidus. I'm out of business here. Amar said, "Who the acher mitztafim the Eidus acher shorish chedesh." It means to the same testimony. There was another aid that came from the outside and said, "I also saw 3 sticks." A third aid. He says, "I also saw 3 sticks." So you can take the one that said 3, combine it with the one that says 3, and then it's what happens. The Havilei Trei B'chad. Now you have 2 against 1. One says it was 5. One says it was 2. 2 say it was 3.
What happens to the guy that said?
What's the practical difference? What's the shaykhut?
No, you want to see if they're saying the truth. If they saw the new moon. And the way they're testifying, they asked the question, and here it came out such a.
So what about
it's like I told you the story.
What's the deal with the guy that said 5?
So he's possible. He's possible for all ladies.
Other cases also.
Yeah, sure. I told you the story. My father was a sheikh. He had a guy Archie that he used to go with to the shechita, and my father got a ticket, a red light ticket. So my father told him, "Listen, tell him that he couldn't have seen it because he was far away." So I called my father in, and my father says that he couldn't give me a red light ticket. He was at the end of the block. It was impossible for him to see it. The cop, yeah. So they called on Archie, and they asked Archie, how far was the cop away? He says, 5 miles away. So that's what's shooking him. He's sucking him out. He was getting guilty. Yeah, 5 miles away. He wanted to see he was so far away. Yeah. Anyway. That's it. Okay. Zog the Mishnah. We learned the Mishnah 2 cases. If he tells the Chamani, I'm giving you a dinner, give me a worth of a dinner in Peiris. What happens? The Chamani gives him the Peiris, and then the Chamani says to the Balabais, "No, give me the dinner." So he gave it to you. So what are we passing in there? So in such a case, we said the Balabais has to swear that he gave the dinner, and then he's going to be potter.
He has already the Paris in his hand.
We're still going to talk about it. So it says, because we said that he would never give the paytas unless he got the dinner already. So therefore the Balabayas swears. Well, soon see.
You want to make us
It's a machlokes there. Anyway, Rabbi Yehuda says he wouldn't swear because of what we just said. There was another case if he was tight, he was teveya from him payers. He gave him a dinner, and he says, "Give me the payers." And the Chamini says, "I gave you the payers." So the dinner is the Chamini has to swear that he gave the payers, and then in that case he can collect, he can keep the dinner. Rabbi Yehuda says the one who has the payers in his hands, that's what we learned in the Mishnah, he doesn't have to swear. Because he would, the Chamini would never give him the payers till he first gave him the dinner. Okay, we can learn now the Gemara. Tanya, this wasn't the Mishnah. Tanya, we learned from Rabbi Yehuda. Mosan. When am I made it to the Tana Kama that the Balabais could swear that he already paid? When the payers is now in the middle in the Shus Rabin, right? The Chamini gave it to him. He made a king in, but still in the Shus Rabin. He wasn't Kainait yet. And now they're both fighting over the payers. So, the Chamini says, you can't take the payers, you still have to give me my dinner. And he says, no, I gave it to you. So in such a case, Rabbi Yehuda will be made that the Balabais has to swear that he gave the dinner and then he can take the payers. But what if the Balabais already had the payers in his bag, he's already in his knapsack, he's walking already, it's lachirim in the back. Once he's a mulsik in the paydays, there's no shvur here. You want to take out to me the paydays? You swear the onisher. Swear. He has to bring that eye with Eidim that he didn't give the dinner because with the cloud, the nature is before Chamini gives out his paydays, that he wouldn't give out unless the Balabais give a dinner. Nobody swears. According to Rabbi Yehuda, you don't swear. Only the Tanakama says he would swear. The Chamini has to be Nadaya that he wants to be Maitzi. He gave the payers. He wants the dinner. You want to take out a dinner? But not according to the Tanakama. He has to swear. The Chamini has to swear, and then he collects.
Rabbi Yehuda says you don't have to swear.
Right. Rabbi Yehuda says he doesn't. We had another case very similar. Amalu Shulchani, the same story. Tenly. What is it? He says to the Shulchani. The Balabayas tells the Shulchani, listen, give me change of a dinner. Like you ask, give me change of $1. And he gives him the change, and then he says, give me the dinner. Yeah, give me the $1, yeah. So the Balabayas tines that I gave it to you. So the Balabayas has to swear that he had already given. Rabbi Yehuda says, listen, he doesn't have to swear. It's not the derech that he's going to give him change before he gets the $1. Well, you don't tell Rabbi Shane, give me 20 singles, and then I'll give you the 20. No, he takes the 20, and then he gives you 20 singles. And therefore, according to Rabbi Yehuda, he doesn't swear because it's nature that the Shulchani first took the $1 bill and then he gave the change. But the Tanakhama says no, the Balabaya swears, and then that he already gave the $1. It says so it's the exact same case as the payers. It's no different. Why do we need both cases?
Has to swear.
Yeah, that he already gave the dinner. He already gave the $1. Okay.
And what does the other one say?
The other one says you owe me the $1. I gave you the change. You still owe me the $1. So Rabbi Yehuda says you bring proof. No shvur here.
Bring proof that you didn't give.
That I still owe you the $1. I sure gave you the $1 before you gave me the change.
So he has to be. He's a Moisim B'Chaveh.
Wait, the Chamini is a Moisim B'Chaveh. Tanakh says no. He still has to swear. The Balabayas has to swear. He gave it already, and he doesn't.
He has to swear that he gave him the
$1. Right. So it's both the exact same cases. The Peiros and the Shulchani. In fact, what do we need both? Says
all these shvuos are, to calm down.
Yes, it's only midrabanan. The whole shvur is midrabanan.
Calm them down.
Right. First of all, it's a kefir hakel. He's a kefir hakel is part of shvur. You said paid you already. I don't know you sent. Nevertheless, we made he should swear it's just to calm him down. Says we need both cases. The Ashmina Hakamaisa. If the Mishnah would have only taught us the case by the paydays, I say by the paydays. Over there, Dafki, in such a case, the Chachamim say the Balabais has to swear that he already paid. Mishum the payday avidu the markaveh. Paydays normally get rotten. But given the markaveh, like Mashal, since he starts getting rotten, he doesn't want to hold it. So the minute the guy says he's looking at the paydays, this guy jumps and takes the paydays and he starts putting it in his wagon and everything. So his chutzah should be kind of already. So because he doesn't want he should be able to back out. So that's possible that he already put it in before
Who
he got
doesn't want it
payment.
back now? The guy that took
The
the Beirus?
the Chemini wants to get rid of the payers.
Oh, so he loads it up on his
He
brain.
loads him up before he can even say boo. And he says, okay, now give me the money. This is the deal. This is how much you owe me. Because he doesn't want to. So that's possible that the payers came before the payment.
Okay.
Okay, so that's where the Rabbanim would agree that, okay, so the Rabbanim say, hey, he gave the payers first. So there the Rabbanim say he swears.
Who's
The Chemini, the Balabai swears that he gave the money first. Of course, it's very possible he didn't. So that's why we make him swear.
No, it's possible that he put it up and he didn't take money.
Right. By the Bikuch on the Mois, the loy market money doesn't rot. He's calm. Hey, you want change? First, give me the money. First, give me the dollar bill. Maybe the Chacham would be made Rabbi Yehuda that he doesn't swear, because there was no rush for the Shulchani to give change. Right? First, give me the dollar, and I'll give you change. So maybe the Rabbanim would be made in that case. I made some chavir all the maraya.
The Shulchan has to swear?
There's no swearing. He would be made that the Shulchani got the dollar already, and if Shulchani claims he didn't get the dollar, he's a meitzim chavir, and the balabais would not have to swear in that case of money. Says what if he eat mabaha? So maybe the Rabbanim will be made to Rabbi Yehuda. And if we'd only learn the case of the money, I would say, the case of the money, Rabbi Yehuda says that makes sense. There's no reason to swear. But how come Rabbi Yehuda that the Balabais is part of Mashvua because there was no rush for the Shulchani to give him change before getting the dollar. So if he gave him change, he obviously got the dollar. So now that he claims he didn't, you're a meitzim chaveri, because that's not nature. Nature is you did get your dollar. When it comes to paydays, but when it comes to paydays, maybe Rabbi Yehuda will be made to Rabbanim that the Balabais has to swear, because it's possible that he got the paydays before giving the money.
He wanted to get rid of it.
He wanted to get rid of it. Therefore, we need both cases. We learned in the Hanshach of the Mishnah Kishen Shamru HaPegemes Ksubasa. If you remember, Pegemes Ksubasa is a case where the woman admitted she got part of the Ksuba. She ruined the shtar. The shtar says she's supposed to get $1,000 of a ksuba, and now she's made and she says you still owe me the ksuba. So the husband says I paid you. She says yeah, you paid me half, but you still owe me 500. So she made up a gam in the shtar. So now if she wants to collect the rest, she has to make a shvua. She wants to collect the rest of the ksuba. Normally a shtar is strong enough without a shvua, but here she admitted she made a problem now to the ksuba. The chayla yisayim you put so to by yisayim. If you want to collect from yisayim, you can only collect with a shvua. Says Kimon B'man. From whom did we say by yisayim you can only collect with a shvua? Elaim, if you say min haloiva, that when the shtar chayiv, with the children, the malva died and left over shtar chayiv, the shtar chayiv of the father, and now the children, the shtar chayiv, they want to collect from the lady himself. So there, they cannot collect unless they give it a shvua. What?
The children.
The children. These why not? Avuhin, if the father was alive.
But a bunch of Yisraelim, they all have to swear. One guy swears.
One swears for all. In fact, the Avuhin, Shakal, if the father was alive, meaning the Malva was alive and he had the shtar, then he would collect with shvua. He would collect from the lady without a shvua. The Inu, now that he's dead and the children have the shtar, b'shvua, you can make it harder for the Yisraelim to have to swear. Why? You're right. The shot is like this. It means that the Malva and the Loiva died, and the Yisayim of the Malva who inherited the shtar are coming to collect from the Yisayim of the Loiva, and they're like put it out of the shvua. You can collect from Yisayim unless there's a shvua. They both say, we did not learn that by Benegay to collect with a shvua. Is only if the Malva died first, and then the Leiva died. This is Gemara from yesterday. But what's if the Leiva died first, and the Malva is alive? So now, if the Malva wants to come with a shtar to the children of the Leiva, he's already kvanis chayiv hamalva livnei Leiva shvua, and the halacha is vein adam made a shvua labana. Now. The Malva has a shtar chayiv, and he owed a shvur to the labor because the labor died already. So now he owes a shvur to the labor's kids to be able to collect. But before he can make that shvur, he died. So now the children cannot say the same shvur as the father. The father could have said, "Bevadois, I didn't get paid." He says, but now the children can only say, "We don't know. He never told us that he got paid."
How could you collect anything?
So he says, "You don't collect anything." So therefore, the children in other marriage, shvur lebano. Therefore, you can
What kind of shvur could they make?
like a shvur, you're saying in the normal
They
shvur.
don't, you say they don't know?
They say they don't know, and our father, we don't have a receipt, and our father never told us it was paid up. So that's enough to collect. But now, when the father was already mechuyev a shvur before he passed away, because the labor died, and he had the chance to swear to the kids, and he didn't, and there could have been a shvur vadois. And now he didn't do it, and he dies, and the kids can't tie in the same shvur, so they cannot inherit such a shtarchev. Shalchu kamed Rabbi Lezer. They sent it to Rabbi Lezer. Shvur zubar. What the heck? What is this? He says, I don't even understand. This whole thing is a takana collecting from Yisayim. If you have a start strong enough without a shvur, the collecting from Yisayim is only a shvur derabbanan, right? So the Malva would have had to swear. He's not around. You're right. He would have said a better shvur, but let's say it's owed millions of dollars. So the children of the Malva should forfeit all the money because
they can
because there was only
money.
right.
If there was money, $1 million came
Could
in,
have
it
said-
would be somewhere, you know.
Right, but they're saying different. They're saying we don't have any receipts. Our father would have had a receipt that he paid.
That he received the money.
He received the money, nothing, and we don't.
The other party would have a receipt.
Yeah, you have. So he says, so they can't accept. They're going crazy. They told Rabbi Lezer, "What is this? How can we allow such a thing?" So Shalach Hu, Rabbi Lezer answered to them, "Listen, Yershim Nishbaim Shvus Yershim and Eichlim." He says, "I disagree with Rabbi Shmuel. They don't forfeit millions of dollars because the father didn't make that shvur derabbanan from collecting the Yisayim, even though it would have been a better shvur, but the shvur wasn't even a chiyuv. It's only a derabbanan, takana derabbanan. No, they don't lose the $1 million. Let them swear shvus Yershim. What do they swear? Like what they shvus Yershim. That we have no knowledge from our father that the shtar was paid up. We have no receipts.
So
And they collect. We have a
shtar.
shtar. That's the strongest thing. That's the time. Shalchu b'mei Rabbi Yami. Rabbi Yami was a shiva for 2 years. I think we might have said we had before. So they sent in the days of Rabbi Yami, who was an Eretz Yisrael, Amakul Hai Shochiluhu Lavi Ozli. He says, "You guys are sending me the shayla. I know you're frustrated with Rabbi Shmuel's psak." He says, if I would have been able to find a reason behind Rabbi Shmuel that they shouldn't be able to collect, the kids shouldn't be able to swear and collect, wouldn't I send you a reason why Rabbi Shmuel said it? I don't have it. I myself, I'm wondering how did they come up with such a psak?
There was a psak
From Rabbi Shmuel.
today on the Kuch and Simpson case.
What happened?
I have to read it. Yeah,
Okay,
they give
let-
you a price of the figure, until they come to
It's ongoing. It's not stop.
Rabbi Yami. Only Rabbi Yami says like this: since the shaila already came to me, name of Bamilsa, I want to say something. Omad Badin, if they were already in Bezdin if the Malva was brought to Bezdin with the Bnei Leiva, Umeis, and before he can make a shua, he died. So Kvan Eschayv Hamalva of Bnei Leiva shua, he already became a chuyuv. May not have made a shua lebana, such a shua that he was going to be mechuyev already in Bezdin. That cannot go over to the children; they cannot collect. But if the Malva was never brought to din, Umeis, Umeis, and he died, Yoshim Nishbain Shvus Yoshim and Eichlim. Then the Yoshim do get the right to swear Shvus Yoshim and collect. Maskar Rav Nachman said, "I'm not okay with that." He says, "Atu Beidina Kamachayv Shvur." Just because you're saying when he comes into the Bezdin, that's when he becomes Mechuyev Shvur. No. May even the Shachat Leiva, the moment the Leiva dies, from when the Leiva dies and he only has children, the Malva is already Mechuyev Shvur if he wants to collect the money. Is Chayev Le Malva B'nei Leiva Shvur. Has nothing to do if he was in Bezdin, ready to swear, and he dies then. Even before coming to Bezdin, From the minute the Leiva dies and the Malva has a stein, he wants to collect, he's already Mechuyev Shvua right then. From the second the Leiva died, and he only has children. Of course, to collect from the Yisrael, you can only swear, you can only collect with a Shvua. Says Gemara. So it has nothing to do with he was trying to be mechalik. If he came to
Bezdin, talking about the yashing the shvur to your children.
Right. So we said, when could he? If he was already called to Bezdin, the Malva went to Bezdin. He called the children to collect, and then he died before making the shvur. So the children cannot swear that shvur. But if he was never called to Bezdin, then the children could make the shvur. So he says, what's the chilik? That has nothing to do with Bezdin. The shvur that was chal on the Malva happens not because of Bezdin. Happens the moment the Leiva dies and he's left with children. The shtar you cannot collect unless
Who's there? Yisayim
the moment they became Yisayim, he became a chayiv shvur.
He wants to collect.
If he wants to collect, yeah. Rav Nachman he says like this. Rav Nachman says, I don't know what to say, but I'm going to say like
How
this.
come you're so confused?
Because Rav Shmuel was putting a monkey wrench to the Yisraelim of the Malva who have a star of millions of dollars that they cannot collect.
Said they can't collect.
Right. So
only the father can collect.
Could have collected
Yeah.
if he would have sworn, not the children. Their shvur is worthless. So he says, if the din is like Rav Shmuel, then Isa. He's saying if you pass like Rav Shmuel, Zol Zayin like Rav Shmuel, whichever daim passing like Rav Shmuel is the psak is like him, and you cannot collect. And leisa, and if you don't hold Rav Shmuel leisa, meaning that he holds he can pass like Rav Elazar, that the kids could swear.
What kind of psak is it? You can do what you want.
He says that means he's a suffix. He doesn't know.
Pick the Rav you like.
Oh, 1 second. It says Al Masafkele. Al Masafkele. So we see that Nachman wasn't sure if that looks like Rav Shmuel or not. He said either or. Zwei others. Other Yada nicht. So he says, it says Befedish Rav Yisrael says that Rav Nachman paskin yachleiku like Rav Yossi. Remember, we had 3 shitas. We had Rav Meir. When we said neither of them could swear, in a case where neither side could swear, right? So Rav Meir said it should go back l'mkoima. In going back l'mkoima, we learned the machlekes. What does it mean l'mkoima? L'sinai, that it goes back to Sinai, that there's no bezdin, doesn't make anybody swear, but they don't pay. Or does it mean that it goes back to the person who was mechuyev shvua, and the person who cannot swear because he's a chashud, even though you can't send it to the kenegdai because the kenegdai is also a chashud. So it goes back to the original person who was mechuyev shvua. And then we have the Rav Yossi who said yachleiku. Rav Nachman paskin like Rav Yossi. So what do you mean Rav Nachman paskin in a case like this where neither of them could swear is yachleiku? Says Gemara, you're right. Rav Nachman paskin yachleiku like Rav Yossi, but lidvad of the Rav Meir, he's saying according to Rav Meir, where we had a machlekes between Rav and Shmuel and Rabbi Abba, what does Chazal and Kaima mean? Kama, there he says, there is where Rav Nachman said, where the Yisayim are collecting from Yisayim, and neither of them could swear according to Rav Meir, so either you could pass him like Rav and Shmuel, no payment, or you could pass him that the Mitay like Rabbi Abba, or Mitay Yachli Shava Mishalim. But he doesn't even hold like Rav Meir B'chlal. He holds the halacha is like Rabbi Yossi that Yachleiku. Rav Nachman, because he says Nimukrei Imai, because the Seichel HaYosher, when it comes between Rav Meir and Rabbi Yossi, the halacha is like Rabbi Yossi. Look, you want to Rabbi Yishai. Rabbi Yishai asked from the Mishnah Mesach Ksubas Mesa, if the Almana died without collecting a Ksuba from the Yarshim of the Baal, Yosheha Maskinin es Ksubasa, her Yarshim could go and collect the Ksuba from the Yarshim Baal ad Esm Chamesh Shonim till 25 years. We had this in the Gemara. You're right. Here's 25 years. Al Kapanim, what do we see? But what do we see from here? Within 25 years, the children of the woman could collect her ksuba, and now for her to collect the ksuba from the yarshim, right? She would, for her to collect from the yarshim, she would have to swear. But the children cannot. She would have to swear she never got a ksuba, and it would have been avadois the shvua. And we said instead, if she dies, the yarshim could inherit that ksuba, even though they cannot swear the same shvua that the almana was able to swear. The yarshim of the almana cannot swear the same shvua, and nevertheless, we said she could collect. The children could collect. So,
Do they get a new 25 years?
No. So they could collect. So what do we see from here? The opposite. You said ein adam meidish, ein adam meidish for labana. Over here you see it's that meidish. The almana is meidish to the children to be able to collect from the yisaymin, the ksuba, with the shvua from the husband's yisaymin. Yeah, and it's talking about before she died. She did make the shvua already, so therefore they're able to collect. Tashma coming here. He's going to have three cases very similar. Nasser he married the one woman first, Umesa, and she died in his lifetime, and she had children. And then he married the second woman, and this time he died. So now the second children, the second set of children, come first. They're balchayv. They come with the ksuba. They inherit. They all inherit equally. It's the same father. They inherit, they're all Yarshim. But that's Mitzad Yarshim. But Mitzad the mother's Ksuba, that's called a Balchayv. The Chayv comes first. So we said...
But she died first, so she died, and so the father... So the husband
father died. The father died in the second case. She died. The first woman died.
So everything stays with the husband.
Yeah, but the kids are the same father. They're going to be Yarshim.
Yeah, okay.
And then the father married a second woman.
Second wife, yeah.
Right? And he died. So she's entitled to a ksuba. Right? But the Yarshim are, and then she died. Okay? So the Yarshim, all the kids.
She had different children.
Right.
It's two sets of children.
Two sets of two different women, children of different women, but the same father. So the all Yarshim of the father, they split the Yerusha, but this woman, the second woman, is due ksuba. She's a malchayv. A ksuba is like a balchayv. Yeah. So the chayv comes before they can inherit. So we said if she died,
both parties, set of sons can inherit.
They're all Yarshim. They split $10,000. Each one has $5,000. Right? Now the children of the ksuba had $1,000 from the mother. They were due. Yeah. That comes first.
Here's a question.
So
okay. The ksuba is not just for divorce; it's also for somebody passes
away. Ksuba is she gets ksuba if the husband passes away, but if she dies first, there's no ksuba. So the first one, the children of the first marriage, there was no ksuba for them; they were just yarshim. But the second one, I have a ksuba to collect if the mother died after the father. So now the mother would have only been able to collect from the whole Yerusha with a shvua. She died, so we said the yarshim of this woman, of the second woman, could collect. How could they collect if the shvua is not the same shvua? You know the meidish a shvua. If they cannot swear vadoy, it's like the mother. Says the mother. Hachanami shenishma umeisa. Here it's talking about that first she swore and then she passed away. Same thing. Toshmak.
Before she died, you got to run to the woman and swear.
Toshmak, come in. Hey, I'll ask you another question. It says, the Yarshim make her swear. I'm sorry. So he made a deal with her. The Baal made a deal that she's never going to have to swear. He says, the moment you want your ksuba, you're not going to have to swear from me. That's it. There's no shvua. Your children won't have to swear. But it says, but if he died, then she would have to swear, and the Yoshim would have to swear. Right? So here we have a question. What do you mean she would have to swear if the husband died? The whole deal was with the husband alone, that she can collect without a shvua. But if the husband died, she would have to swear. And if she dies, it says her children would have to swear. How could the children swear if they can't be Meirish, they can't yash in the mother's ksuba because her shvua is shvua vadais and their shvua is not. And for the Gemara, you're right. I'm going to have Shmayel. It's not in Ketani. The Gemara says it's two cases. What are the two cases? Oisa, if the Isha herself, be almana. We're talking about she's an almana. The husband died, so she's deserving of the ksuba. So she has to swear. She swears. And it says, well, Yesha is big gerusha. It's talking about that she was a gerusha, and it was the lifetime of the husband. So the husband was already mechuyev to give her the ksuba.
Yeah.
So now the children there in such a case, after she got divorced, and then she died, so the woman was never chayva shvur in the lifetime. She got divorced, and she's obligated. The husband was already obligated to give her the ksuba. So there was no chiv shvur for the isha ever to swear. So therefore the children could inherit that ksuba. Okay, so your mother. Most Rav Nosson Rabbi Yishai, Rav Nosson Rabbi Yishai is the Shai. Yaf Koich Haben Koich Ha'av. There's the Koich Haben is stronger than the Koich Ha'av. Shaben Goy Ben Yeshua Ben Shalei Yeshua. A ben could sometimes collect with a shua and sometimes without a shua. But the father can only collect with a shua. How is the case talking about that the malva should be chayv shua? The meis leiva b'chayim malva, that the leiva died in the lifetime of the malva. So the malva would have to swear. Ukatani, shaben geva bein b'shua, bein shalei b'shua. We said there's times that the son would be geva with his shua and sometimes without. Bishwa shwas yarshim. Bishwa will be which was yarshim. And shalei b'shua kirab Shimon Gamil. What did Rabbi Shimon Gamil say in the Mishnah? That if there are Edom that testify that the father said before he died that the shtar befedish was not paid back. Okay? So if there's Edom that said that, so then the children don't have to swear. So you have sometimes the ben doesn't have to swear. Right? So that's a stira to Rav Shmuel, because if the father was alive, you say he would have had to swear Vadei Shvua. I'm talking about in the case Ben gave a bishvor, right? We said there's times that the ben will swear with a shvor. If the father died, and the father died, meaning the leiva, the leiva died the chayim malva, and the malva was already chayv shvor to the leiva. So the father will always be chayv shvor. The son is sometimes not a chayv shvor if there were Edom that said that the father testified and never got paid. But in the case where the father didn't, they don't have Edom like that. We said the son could make a shvor just like the father. How could he? The Malva could give a shviz vadais, but ain't not a meinish lebanov. So that's a kasha of Shmuel said ain't not a meinish lebanov. And here we said you can make a shvur. I mean, Rabbi Yosef, mani b'shamei. This follows up b'shamei. Dami, shtor. Even Liglis can go with Dami by a seita who she was chashud that she was caught. There was stira, there was kinoi and stira, and they had to bring her to drink the mei hamarim. But before she could drink it, he passed away. So we say she doesn't drink it, because in the pasuk it says "V'hevi aish," that the man has to be. He's dead. So according to Beis Shammai, she still collects the ksuba. Why? Because she has a star, and Beis Shammai says star. A star that's meant to collect, it's as if it's collected. So Al Derech Zeh here, Lefi Beis Shammai, in our case, the malva has a star, and the children have now the star. So you're right that they can't swear like the father, but they're the mechzaki. The children are the mechzaki because the star, which stands to be collected, is as if it's collected. Rav Nachman came to Surah Ula Gabei Rav Chizva Rabba Bar Rav Huna. Rav Chizva Rabba Bar Rav Huna met him. Amrulay, they said, Leisi Ma Ne'akla Hadar Rav Yishmol. Come, they said to Rav Nachman, let's uproot the din of Rav Shmuel. They had a big problem with Rav Shmuel that the children cannot collect their money. Rav Nachman says, are you kidding? You made me come so far, and this is the reason I came so far to be Eika din Rav Shmuel. These are great sages. I'm not playing with them. Allah, only I can do. The only thing that I can do is any case that's similar. We won't say the din. Only the din that they said will paskin. that the kids cannot be made as the shvua. Kigoy mai. Says the Gemara. What do you mean a similar case? The Papa had said, you remember that he was made in Bezdin, or like the woman was made that part of the ksuba was paid. Umeis Yoshim, and the Yoshim died. Nishbayin Shvuis Yoshim. So Umeis, I'm sorry, and the Malva died, or the Isha died. So Yoshim, her Yoshim, or the Malva's Yoshim, Nishbayin Shvuis Yoshim, but Neitlin, and they could collect. And it's not the same case because here we're talking about there was a pagam in the star. It's not similar to the case. So the Gemara, another case. There was this person that was sick, and he died. There was this leva who died in the time of the Malva, and the Arab was still alive. So our Papa said, "Hanami the leilas v'alohu." Here also we're going to say what's going to happen. The Malva was mechiv shvua to the leva, but there was an Arab. So the Malva died, so the children swear to the Ariv that the father never got the money from the Leva, so the Ariv has to pay. So that's already a little different than the case. It's not directly to the Leva. So that's not good. That's not a different case. What do you think? What did you gain? Yeah, you're right, there's an Ariv. So they'll collect from the Ariv. What do you think is going to happen to the Ariv? He's going to go back to the Leva, so it's really the same case. What do you tell me? It's a different case. So you want to hold the Shachiv again. A Malva. There was one Malva who died after the Leva died. B'Shavak Acha, and he had a brother left over, not children. So it's not Yisayim. It's a brother. So this is not similar, and we'll say the brother could swear. What's the difference if it's children or the father? It's the same reason that you said that the children shouldn't be able to swear, because they cannot swear shvur vadois like the father, like the malva. The same thing is with a brother. So don't say it's a different case. That's really the same case. No, so here also they'll agree. Rav Nachman will say this is not a different case, and the halach would be like Rav and Shmuel. That's Ein Meirish. Rav Chama said, "Hasan l'leit me'ilchasa loik Rav Shmuel loik Rav Elazar." Now that you didn't learn the halacha either way, not like Rav and Shmuel or Rav Elazar, hi dayon the avad Rav Shmuel avad. Whoever passes like Rav and Shmuel, that you can't ain't other Meirish and you can't get paid, that's going to be psak. And v'hai the avad Rav Elazar. And the dayan that will pass like Rabbi Lazar that they could swear, is also good.
Those that want to get paid should always go to the bezin of the Rabbi Lazar.
Okay, Amar Papa. How started the Yasmi? This star of Yisraelim that they inherit from the father, and the father died only after the Leva. We don't rip up the star, and we don't collect with that star. We cannot collect with a Dilmas with a lake and Rav Shmuel. Maybe he holds like Rav Shmuel, and therefore you cannot collect. We cannot rip it because the high dayanim there are some dayanim that pass like Rabbi Lazar that they will be able to collect. They just have to swear and they will.
Maybe they'll change it up, right?
And maybe they'll get the right dayanim. Don't rip up those papers. You might hit the luck. There was this dayan that passing like Rabbi Lazar that the Yisrael could swear. There was a Talmud Chacham, a young Talmud Chacham, a Shachman that lived in the city. Amalei, he said to this Dayan, Asina Higartim Marava, bring me a letter from Eretz Yisrael, the less Hilchasa K'Rab Lazar. The less Hilchasa K'Rab Lazar. He says, I'll bring you a letter that the halach is not like Rabbi Lazar. How do you pass like Rabbi Lazar? I'll bring you a letter that Rabbi Lazar. So I'll bring you a letter. Amalei, so the Daya says, when you bring it, then we'll see. Obviously, he knew that he could pass like Rabbi Lazar. Amalei, this young guy came before Rabbi Chama, and he told him, hi, Rabbi Lazar. So he says, whichever time passing like Rabbi Lazar, it's fine. So he was caught red-handed. I mean, not caught red-handed. So he backed off. of this Dainu passing like Rabbi Lazar because he saw Rabbi Chama says you can pass like either. No, we have still time. How much time do we have? No, 5 after. These are the cases that you swear even without a taina. What do you swear? Why should, if nobody's timing against you, why should you swear? If nobody has a taina against you, so these people, the guy could say, my shutif, my artist, he says, I have a bad feeling now. For some reason, I know we're always shutim. For some reason, I have a bad feeling. I want you to swear that you were Elach in the last couple of deals. So it's, even though he doesn't have a tainas vadai, he can make him swear. Says the Gemara, the same thing with a ben bayis. Sha'amru, it's not talking about Stam ben bayis walking in and out. We're talking about machs like Palim, like Sin like Palim. We're talking about such a ben bayis who's a manager. He brings them workers, he pays the workers, machs like paydas, he buys paydas for the brothers from the Nichsei Yerusha, or he sells paydas from the Nechosim. In fact, you want a so he can make, the brother can make him swear. You're a manager. We don't feel good the way you're managing, and we think you're siphoning off some payers for yourself, or they on the side.
So you gotta swear.
So he's got to swear. Like you want to honey. Why are these chayim the chacham or mechay b'shua on taina shama? Why is it different than other nitvayim that's only with tainas vadai? Because these three people, a shutiv, or a worker, or a ben bayis who they hired as a manager, they feel like they could be made a heter. We'll stop over here.